Are there any spaces in your home that you feel like needs a refresh? In today's video, I'm going to be reupholstering my bench in my entryway that is part of a full series of me doing my staircase and entryway on a budget. So stay tuned and let's see how I bring this all together.
The first time I saw a bench like this was in a Studio McGee home tour, and from then on I dreamt of having one of my own. When this one was gifted to me, I repurposed it and immediately knew what I wanted to do with it. I DIY'd a slip cover with simple drop cloth to give it a relaxed and lounge feel. And now, after 2 homes and lots of love and lots of use, it's time to reimagine it again. This newly designed space while I'm bringing healing into my home. What fabric will I use? What design? What mood do I want this bench to bring into this room? I can see it in my head. It's comfy, it's moody, with a hint of sophistication. Now I just need to bring it to life. And here is where the new transformation begins. And now the fun part, figuring out how this new material will actually look on this bench and in this space. I started by moving the bench sideways in the entryway, giving myself space to drape the fabric and see how it will fall. Then I tuck it under the long pillow, slipcover, to give it the look that I originally had. Then I let it hang all the way to the floor to see if it had a different effect. I went back and forth a few times because I really couldn't decide on which look I wanted for this space. I took my time here trying to decide between 2 styles for this bench. One was familiar, the original look I've loved for years, a relaxed, loungy, pillow-type feel. The other was new, clean, smooth, and a little more elevated and sophisticated. After arranging both versions, I decided to turn the bench back against the wall and take photos, hoping an image might give me clarity. But honestly, it was still hard to choose. So I decided to ask my family for their opinion, and most of them voted for the clean look, which surprised me. Or maybe it was more of, it was a choice I didn't want to hear. You might be like this, where you're a creature of habit and change doesn't always come easy or feel good. I realized I was holding on to the old style because it was comfortable and familiar. But as a designer and as someone committed to creating healing spaces, I also knew that growth comes from pushing myself beyond what feels safe. Sometimes change itself is the very thing that brings new energy and new life into a space. After measuring out how much material was needed for the bench, I took my time to lay the fabric out on my dining room table, and then with fabric scissors, I took my time to cut the material as straight as possible. And because the material was very long, I was able to use this technique where I would roll the fabric as I was cutting the fabric, and this made it easy to keep that straight line. Instead of measuring the bench with the tape measure, I like to drape the fabric directly over it and mark exactly where I want it to fall. It's a little more intuitive and it helps me really see how the fabric will move and hang in the space. Before pinning the two pieces of fabric together, I laid out the fabric to see exactly where I wanted to sew the two pieces together. I pinned the pieces together right on the floor, draped over the bench to make sure the seams would line up exactly where I needed them to be. You can kind of see how easy this process was. I'm literally just sticking the pins together to join the two pieces before I decide how long I need it to be on this end of the bench. And then once I had it pinned all the way across from one end to the other, I rolled up the fabric until it was hanging just in the right place for me to then measure where I needed to cut this fabric. I used more stick pins to measure out where I wanted to cut the fabric. And then in an effort to keep everything nice and neat, I used no-sew tape to create a temporary crease, a clean line to guide my stitches later. Then I ironed it all in one place, which gave me the crisp fold I could follow by hand as I'm sewing. It's an extra step, but I love it. Honestly, this part feels so therapeutic for me. If you've never used no-sew tape before, I have to share, this stuff is amazing. It really can take the place of sewing something by hand using needle and thread. However, in this particular situation, I'm just using this technique to create, again, those seam lines so that I can later go back and sew this by hand. So once I get everything lined up and make sure that the two edges are nice and straight, the way that you use this technique is to hold an iron with steam over the area for about 3 seconds. And again, this is an extra step. It does not have to be done when you are sewing two pieces together. I just liked it because I wanted to make sure that I was going to have that straight line. And so here's where you can see the crease that I created. And I'm actually going to iron this crease as well too. I think I'm gonna love it. This fabric is a beautiful linen and cotton mix with a soft brownish gray tone. It gives luxe at the same time with a comfortable, cozy feel. My family and I love this bench. We love the area that it's going to be in. We actually sit and talk on it for hours at a time. And beyond this just being a piece of furniture, it's a part of creating a healing space, a place that invites calm, connection, and comfort in a home. Every time someone sits here, it reminds me that design isn't just about beauty, it's about nurturing the people who live within it. And if you enjoy seeing the bench come to life so far, make sure to check out part 2, where I'll be sewing the sides on and finishing the slipcover and giving the full reveal of this beautiful bench in my Healing Spaces series. I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.